No one wants to talk about this, not really. People will discuss retirement accounts, travel plans, health supplements, all the preparations that face outward. But the inner preparation, training the mind for the silence, the slowing, the loss of roles, the proximity of death, that conversation almost never happens. And the cost of that silence shows up later in the bitterness, the anxiety, and the sense of being completely blindsided by something that was always inevitable. Welcome to mindfulness. Today, we are not going to avoid that conversation. We are going to walk through 7 Buddhist teachings honestly and carefully that show you how to train the mind now so that old age arrives not as a catastrophe, but as a chapter you are genuinely prepared for. 1. See the mind's relationship with time. You probably spend very little time thinking about how your mind relates to the past and the future. Most people don't. The mind drifts backward into memory or forward into planning almost constantly, and this feels so natural that it goes unexamined for an entire lifetime. But the Buddha pointed to something precise and uncomfortable in the Majjhima Nikaya, one of the oldest collections of his discourses. He described how beings suffer not merely from painful events, but from the mental proliferation around those events. The Pali word is papancha. It refers to the mind's tendency to expand, elaborate, and entangle itself around experience. A simple ache becomes a catastrophe. A moment of forgetfulness becomes evidence of decline. A change in the body becomes a source of ongoing inner argument. This is the mechanism that makes old age so painful for unprepared minds. Not the aging itself, but the papancha around it. Think about how you relate to time right now, while you are still relatively strong. If something goes wrong, how long does your mind stay with it? If someone overlooks you, how many hours does the mind replay it? If your body feels slower than it used to, do you notice and move on, or does the mind build a case around it? The answers reveal how prepared you are. The Buddha taught that the untrained mind treats the present moment as a problem to solve rather than a reality to inhabit. It is always negotiating with time, wishing the past were different, demanding the future be certain. This negotiation feels productive. It is not. It is exhausting. And in old age, when the past grows longer and the future grows shorter, this exhaustion becomes unbearable. Old age does not ruin people who are rooted in the present. It disorients people who were living almost entirely in their projections. Begin now, not with grand practice, with small, honest attention. When you notice the mind drifting into argument with reality, pause, return, this moment, this breath. This is the training that will carry you when time becomes shorter and the mind needs somewhere stable to stand. 2. Understand the difference between solitude and loneliness. There is a teaching in the Theragatha, the verses of the elder monks, where practitioners describe living alone in forests, on mountain paths, in quiet places, not with despair, but with a profound sense of ease. They were not people who had stopped caring for others. They were people who had stopped needing external conditions to feel complete. This distinction matters enormously when you think about old age. Most people, if they are honest, have never truly been alone. They have been physically by themselves, yes, but the mind was always populated. Music, screens, conversations replaying, plans forming, worries circulating. Real solitude, the kind the Buddha praised, is different. It is the mind resting without grasping for something to hold on to. The Pali word is paviveka. It means seclusion, but not the seclusion of isolation. It means a quality of inner stillness that is available whether you are with others or not. The elder monks were not antisocial. They moved among people. They taught, listened, and cared. But their sense of inner sufficiency did not depend on whether those interactions happened or not. This is what old age will test. When the social world naturally contracts, as it does for everyone, when friends pass away, when family grows occupied, when the invitations slow, when your voice carries less weight in conversations, what will your mind rest on? A person who has cultivated paviveka will find that silence is not empty. It is spacious. The mind that has been trained in genuine stillness does not experience the shrinking of the social world as abandonment. It experiences it as a natural simplification. A mind that has never been trained this way will interpret every quiet afternoon as evidence of being forgotten, every unanswered call as rejection, every evening alone as proof that life has become small. This suffering is not caused by old age. It is caused by the mind's untrained dependence on continuous external input. Begin practicing real solitude now, not isolation, not withdrawal from life. Simply this: spend time each day with your mind without feeding it stimulation. Sit quietly. Walk without headphones. Let the thoughts arise and pass without following every one of them. At first, it will feel uncomfortable. That discomfort is the very thing that needs to be trained. Over time, something genuinely shifts. The mind finds it can rest within itself. And a mind that can rest within itself will not be destroyed by silence. It will inhabit silence the way an elder monk inhabits the forest, quietly, steadily, without need for rescue. 3. Let go of the self you have been performing. In the Anattalakkhana Sutta, considered by scholars to be one of the earliest teachings the Buddha gave after his awakening, he presented a precise and radical idea. He invited his first 5 disciples to examine what they took to be themselves: body, feeling, perception, mental formations, consciousness, and asked them directly, "Is this self? Is this mine? Is this what I am?" His answer was consistent across all 5. None of it, examined carefully, holds up as a permanent, unchanging self. This is not nihilism. The Buddha was not saying you do not exist. He was pointing to something more subtle. The self we defend so fiercely, the one with the reputation, the image, the history of achievements and relationships, is assembled. It is constructed from conditions, and conditions change. Most people spend their entire lives performing a version of themselves that feels solid and permanent. I am someone who is sharp. I am someone who is needed. I am someone who is respected. I am someone who is physically capable. These identities feel true because they are continuously reinforced by daily life. Work confirms your competence. Family confirms your role. Social life confirms your status. Old age disrupts every one of these reinforcements, often at once. And here is what no one tells you. The suffering is not from losing the roles. The suffering is from having believed, without examination, that those roles were you. The Buddha's teaching on anatta, non-self, is not an abstract philosophy. It is a practical instruction for exactly this moment in life. If you begin now to examine the self you have been performing, not to destroy it, but to hold it more lightly, old age will not feel like the theft of your identity. It will feel like the natural loosening of something you were always only borrowing. This practice does not require monastic life. It requires honesty. When you notice yourself protecting an image, defending a reputation, needing to appear a certain way, pause. Ask quietly, who is this for? What would remain if this particular version of me were no longer needed? What remains is awareness, presence, the capacity to be here, to notice, to respond with care. That does not age the way a reputation ages. That does not fade the way physical strength fades. The elder who has loosened their grip on performed identity moves through old age differently. They are not haunted by who they used to be. They are available to who they are now, and there is enormous freedom in that availability. 4. Train attention before it becomes fragile. The Buddha placed extraordinary emphasis on attention, not on willpower, not on belief, but on attention. The Pali word sati, usually translated as mindfulness, is closer in meaning to clear remembering, the capacity to hold something in awareness without immediately reacting to it. In the Anapanasati Sutta, the Buddha gave detailed instructions for training attention through the breath, not because the breath is magical, but because it is always present, always changing, and subtle enough to require genuine focus. The breath is the training ground for a capacity that then applies to everything. Here is what most people do not consider. Attention is not fixed. It is a faculty, like muscle. And like muscle, it responds to training when trained, and it weakens when neglected. You live in a time of extraordinary attention fragmentation, notifications, rapid content, constant switching. The mind is being trained every single day to move quickly, to skim surfaces, to avoid sustained focus. This feels harmless now. In old age, its cost becomes visible. An aged mind that was never trained in sustained attention becomes scattered in ways that go far beyond forgetting names. It loses the ability to follow a single thought through to completion. It cannot sit with discomfort without immediately reaching for relief. It cannot observe its own emotional states without being swept away by them. These are not merely cognitive problems, they are suffering. The Buddha's path is sometimes described as the gradual training, sila, samadhi, panya. Ethics, then concentration, then wisdom. The middle step, samadhi, is sustained, unified attention. It is placed in the middle deliberately. Without trained attention, wisdom cannot penetrate. The mind is too fractured to see clearly. Training attention now does not mean spending hours in formal meditation, though formal practice is genuinely valuable. It means practicing single-pointed presence in ordinary moments, eating without distraction, listening to someone without preparing your reply, reading without switching, completing one task before beginning another. Each of these small choices trains the same faculty that formal meditation trains. They teach the mind to stay, and a mind that has learned to stay will not be defeated by the long, quiet hours that old age brings. It will inhabit them with clarity rather than agitation. Old age will ask your attention to rest. Begin teaching it to rest now. Not by force, by patient, repeated return. Each time the mind wanders, come back. Each time distraction calls, pause. This is the practice. It is quiet. It is not dramatic. And it is one of the most important things you can do for the person you will be in 30 years. 5. Purify motivation while there is still time. In the Dhammapada, one of the most widely studied texts across all Buddhist traditions, the very first verse opens with a statement about the mind. The mind is the forerunner of all actions. What we do arises from what we intend, and what we intend reveals what we actually value, beneath all the explanations we give ourselves. Most people, if asked why they work hard, or why they care for others, or why they seek recognition, will give generous answers. I do it for my family. I do it to contribute. I do it because it matters. These answers may be partially true, but they are rarely the complete picture. Mixed into most human motivation is a thread of craving. Craving for security, for approval, for the feeling of mattering, for control over how others perceive us. The Buddha was not moralistic about this. He was diagnostic. Mixed motivation is not evil. It is simply unstable. And old age exposes instability with great precision. When you have worked hard, partly for genuine contribution and partly for recognition, and old age removes the recognition, what remains? When you have cared for others partly from love and partly from the need to feel needed, and your children no longer need you daily, what remains? When you have been generous partly from compassion and partly to maintain a certain image, and the image fades, what remains? If the answer is confusion, resentment, or a quiet sense of emptiness, the mixed motivation has been revealed. This is not a failure of character. It is simply something that was never examined. Begin examining motivation now, not to become paralyzed by self-analysis, but to slowly purify it. When you act generously, notice whether there is a quiet expectation attached. When you help someone, notice whether part of you is keeping score. When you seek connection, notice whether you are genuinely offering presence or quietly asking to be confirmed. This noticing is not self-punishment. It is the beginning of genuine purification. Over time, as mixed motivation is seen clearly, it loses some of its grip. Actions become slightly cleaner, less entangled, less dependent on the outcome matching the expectation. A person who reaches old age with purified motivation suffers less when outcomes disappoint, when recognition disappears, when roles dissolve. They are not dependent on the world arranging itself to validate their effort. Their sense of having lived well comes from the quality of intention they brought to their days, not from what those days produced. This is one of the most practical and least discussed forms of preparation for aging. It requires nothing external. It requires only the willingness to look honestly at why you do what you do, and to slowly, patiently move toward acting from what is genuine rather than what is merely self-protective. 6. Practice generosity as a discipline, not an occasion. The Buddha's teachings on dana, generosity, appear across virtually every layer of the tradition. In the Itivuttaka, a collection of short discourses, the Buddha spoke of giving as one of the foundations of a good life, not as an occasional virtue, but as an ongoing orientation toward the world. But the teaching on dana goes deeper than most people realize. The Buddha was not primarily concerned with what is given. He was concerned with what giving does to the mind of the one who gives. Clinging is the root of suffering in Buddhist understanding. Tanha, craving and attachment, binds the mind to outcomes, to possessions, to the need for things to remain as they are. Generosity, practiced as a genuine discipline rather than as a performance, loosens this binding. Each act of giving, when done without expectation of return, trains the mind in the direction of release. This is profoundly relevant to aging. Consider what genuine generosity practice looks like. It is not limited to money or material things. The Buddha described giving in terms of material support, but also in terms of protection from fear, in terms of teaching, in terms of presence and care. Giving your full attention to someone is dana. Giving your time without resentment is dana. Speaking honestly when it would be easier to flatter is a form of dana. What transforms these acts into spiritual discipline is the quality of mind behind them. Giving without tracking what you receive in return. Giving without using it to build an identity as a generous person. Giving without the subtle expectation that it creates obligation in the other. This kind of giving is difficult to sustain because the ego continuously reasserts itself into the equation. But difficulty is precisely why it is practice. You return to it. You notice when you have slipped into calculation. You begin again. By the time old age arrives, a person who has practiced dana as a genuine discipline carries something internally that cannot be taken away. They have loosened the grip of self-referential need. They have become, in small but real ways, freer. And this freedom means that when old age removes things involuntarily, the mind has some experience of being okay without them. Give now, not grandly, consistently. Give your attention, give your patience, give your honesty. Give without building a record. Each act of genuine generosity is a small training in letting go. And letting go, practiced over a lifetime, is what allows a person to age without the desperate, painful clinging that turns ordinary decline into prolonged inner suffering. 7. Understand what the mind is and what it is not. This is the teaching that holds all the others together, and it is the one most people encounter last when they would have benefited from it first. The Buddha did not teach a soul. He did not teach a permanent divine spark residing inside the body that survives death unchanged and untouched. He also did not teach that a person is merely a biological machine that simply stops at death. He taught something more precise and far more interesting than either of those positions. What we call a person in the Abhidhamma and the Nikayas alike is a process, a flowing continuity of interdependent factors: form, feeling, perception, mental formations, and consciousness. The Pali term is Panchakanda, the 5 aggregates. None of them, individually or collectively, constitutes a fixed, unchanging self. But they are not nothing. They are an ongoing process shaped by causes and conditions, producing further causes and conditions. Why does this matter for aging? Because most of the suffering of old age is built on a fundamental misidentification. The mind says, "I am this body, and the body is declining. I am this memory, and the memory is weakening. I am these capacities, and the capacities are fading." Every one of these statements ties awareness to something impermanent, and when the impermanent thing changes, awareness feels threatened. The Buddha's invitation was not to construct a better, more permanent self. It was to investigate what is actually happening in experience, with enough patience and precision to see that awareness itself is not declining in the way the body declines. Awareness witnesses decline. It is not identical to the thing declining. This is not a philosophical trick. It is something that can be verified in direct experience through the kind of sustained contemplative attention the Buddha taught across his 45 years of teaching. When you sit quietly and observe the breath, you are not trying to feel peaceful. You are training the capacity to observe without becoming what is observed. The sound arises. You are aware of it. You are not the sound. The thought arises. You are aware of it. You are not the thought. The ache in the knee arises. You are aware of it. You are not the ache. This distinction, which sounds simple when stated plainly, is extraordinarily difficult to hold during the actual experience of aging. The pull to identify completely with what is changing is very strong. It is deeply conditioned, but every moment of genuine mindfulness practice weakens that conditioning slightly. Over years, over decades, it weakens significantly. The elder who has practiced this well does not feel that the decline of the body is the decline of themselves in some final, annihilating sense. They experience what is happening with clarity and even with a quality the texts sometimes describe as upekkha, equanimity, not the false equanimity of suppressed emotion. The genuine equanimity of a mind that has seen clearly what it is and what it is not. In the Samyutta Nikaya, there is a discourse where the Buddha addresses an elderly Brahmin named Dhananjani, who is seriously ill and near death. He guides him through a reflection, moving from one form of understanding to another, patiently, without alarm. The tone is not consolation for its own sake. It is genuine orientation. This is what mind prepared by practice can do. It can be guided even at the final hour because it has maintained the capacity to listen and to see. You do not need to be near death to begin this. You need only to begin honestly examining what you are identifying with when you say the word I. When you say, I am tired, who is tired? When you say, I am afraid, who is afraid? When you say, I am getting old, who is watching that aging happen? The watcher does not age the way the watched does. This is not mysticism. It is the most practical thing the Buddha ever pointed to, and it is available to you right now, in this breath, in this moment of reading, in whatever quiet follows. Train this understanding now, not by memorizing a doctrine, by practicing the genuine observation of your own experience with patience and care. Old age will test everything, but it cannot take awareness from you. Only inattention can do that. Old age was never the enemy. Unpreparedness was. The Buddha did not offer a way out of aging. He offered a way through it, with the mind intact, with dignity preserved, with suffering reduced to what is necessary and nothing more. These 7 practices are not a checklist. They are a direction. You will return to some more than others. You will forget and remember. That is the nature of the path. What matters is that you begin quietly, honestly, now. The time that remains, however much it is enough.